Hey everyone, my name is Lee and welcome to another episode of Access Medic Presents. Before we get started in this video, I just wanted to let y'all know I was having some trouble with Squadcast uploading the video from Carter's side. So we had to switch to an audio only video. I am working to try to figure out what's going on with Squadcast and to see if I might need to switch to a different platform. So if you're tuning in, put your earphones in, you're not going to miss anything on the video. Y'all have a good one. Hey everybody, welcome back to Access Medic Presents, and today we have a very special guest from Australia. Carter, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks for having me on. My name's Carter. I'm a paramedic out here in Australia. I work out in the coal mines. Where I'm currently at work at the moment. So, I work out in the Bowen Basin, which is in Queensland, Australia. And it's about 2 hours west of Mackay, or west of the coastline. So, thanks for having me on.
Oh, yeah, great to have you here. So, let's start with your education process, because I know in the States it's a lot different than it is in Australia. You know, we have a 2-year program that may or may not end up in an associate's degree with an option to go on to get a bachelor's degree. So what kind of process do y'all go through to become a paramedic out there?
Yeah, certainly. So out here in Australia, we complete a 3-year bachelor's degree. So that's a bachelor's of paramedic science, or a variation of. So that's 3 years full time at uni. Some universities out here do also offer the dual degree of paramedicine and nursing. So you can get a Bachelor of Paramedicine and a Bachelor of Nursing as well if you wanted to go down that path. But for me, I just did my bachelor's degree. So I did that at the Queensland University of Technology. It was really, really good. Enjoyed my experience. It's a very, very good mixture of theory as well as the practical side of it, and on-road experience as well. So, so it's a really, really good process to go through, and like I said, it's that good balance.
Nice. So, how long did you spend as we call them ground medics over here? How long did you spend as a ground medic over there before you went industrial?
So I've kind of had a bit of a different pathway. So I did my 3 years at uni as a student, and so I qualified at the end of 2021. I then started working as for some private companies doing events and things like that. It wasn't until about June last year I got into the mine site paramedic world, and so I've been, so I kind of was doing events and stuff like that up until I came out here and became a mining paramedic. So
nice. So, what kind of qualifications do you need to be a mine paramedic?
Yeah, so obviously we need to be, you need to obviously have your paramedics degree, which is that 3-year bachelor's degree, and you need to also be registered with AHPRA, so it's the Australian Health Practitioners Registering Authority. That's our governing body basically for paramedics out here in Australia, as well as other fields in healthcare like podiatry and your doctors and nursing, etc. So you need to have that degree. And that's pretty much it to start working out here. Some mine sites you do go to will require you to have other qualifications, such as your drug and alcohol testing certification, and also your Certificate 3 in Mines Rescue, which is a 3-week course that you do, and basically you learn some of the fundamentals of rescue and fire team ops and stuff like that. So it's basically a condensed firefighters course.
Okay.
So I work out. So I'm qualified in both. So obviously I'm what's referred to as a PESO, so a paramedic ESO, or emergency services officer. So I can perform both I can perform both that paramedic role and that medical side of things, as well as tech rescue side. So we do confined space, we do breathing apparatus, fire team ops. So I'm versed in that side of it as well. So, which is starting to become more and more prevalent in the mine sites out here, especially in Queensland at the moment. It's kind of you're finding a lot more mine sites are going towards that dual role, and having someone with that dual qualification to be able to work. But like I said, it's not essential at every site at the moment, but it's definitely handy to have.
So with like your drug screen qualifications, I know over here we have DOT and non-DOT, and we have to go. And that's a government government drug screen, so the different qualifications for each one, but usually they hold a higher standard towards the DOT versus the non-DOT, Department of Transportation. So
Yep.
is that the do y'all have is it structured through your local, I mean through your national government, or is it structured through your local government, or?
Yeah, so as in regards to like our rescue qualifications, you mean, or?
Oh, the drug screening process. Yeah,
Yeah,
they make us go um, for DOT. It's you've got to go get a certificate saying that you know how to do the paperwork and everything for the
yeah.
drug screening, and we do randoms on site and everything where I am. Is that a local, or is that like a national government thing that y'all have to go through?
Yeah. So that's so it's different from state to state here. The qualifications are pretty similar. So you can get RPL'd across different states. So if I wanted to go work in New South Wales, say, I would get RPL'd for certain units of that drug and alcohol testing certification. So I could take my qualifications that I currently have and go to New South Wales, and then I may have to do like instead of a whole day in a classroom, whatever, it might just be a half day or something like that, just to get RPL'd across. So it is quite easy to do, but each state also have their slight variances as well. So it just kind of depends on where you are. But here in Queensland, the drug and alcohol course is a 1-day course that you do, and you get your tick in the box and shown how to do all your chain of custody stuff, and you go through the different processes with your urine and saliva, and sort of just get familiar with the different types of tests and stuff that you have. But like I said, if I wanted to go work in other states, I'd have to do another, like I said, half day or a day to get that qualification recognised, basically.
Nice. So is that the same thing with your rescue qualifications too? Is that a state by state, or is that also a national thing?
So I believe the rescue quals are nationally recognised. There may be from state to state, again, depending on the units of competency, there may be some that are slightly different. So again, it would kind of depend on the employer, I suppose. But as far as I'm aware, the Cert 3 itself is a Australia-wide nationally recognised, so you can take that one anywhere. It's just each state's drug and alcohol may be slightly different.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you live on site with the mine, or do you have to relocate to get there? Or
Yeah, so so where I am at the moment, we have a camp that's about a 30-minute drive from the mine site itself. So we get put up in accommodation. Basically a big miners camp. We've got everyone's got their own sort of room and bathrooms, and obviously we've got mess facilities and stuff like that there as well. And then we have a commute car that we use to drive out to site. So me and the other ESO that I work with, we drive out start of every shift and drive back to camp at the end of the shift. So and like I said, it's about anywhere from 20 minutes to half hour each way, depending on the traffic and that sort of thing.
nice. So do y'all have we call them hitches over here. Mine is 21 days out and 21 days back on the beach. So
Yep.
do y'all do the same thing where you have a hitch over there, or is it strictly like a 9 to 5 for y'all?
Nah, so we have swings. So yeah, hitches, swings, same sort of thing. But we do week on, week off. So at the moment I'm on a week of night shifts, which is 5 p.m. till 5 a.m. And then I'll go home and have a week off, and then fly back up, and then do a week of day shifts, which is then that 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. So it's different for every site as well. Like I said, it's not a one set rule, but yeah, that's just what we do for our particular site here. I know of places that do, say, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or 2 weeks on, 1 week off. So it just kind of depends really on the location of the sites, because obviously it's quite we're quite remote out where we are. So getting in and out from our particular area is relatively easy. There's other places that are a little bit more inaccessible. So obviously they would do a longer roster or a longer stint, just, given how hard to get in and out.
Nice. All right, so worst case scenario, let's say that you have a patient that needs to be taken to the hospital. What's the closest hospital, and what do y'all utilize for transportation?
Yeah, so we have a hospital, just a rural hospital, that's about 35-minute drive. That's a lights and sirens drive from the mine site here. It's a very, very rural hospital, so their capability isn't that great. Our nearest tertiary centre or major trauma centre it's about 2 hours by road from where we are, or a helicopter ride, basically. In regards to like our 911 service or 000 service out here, so there's one crew that's in Moranbah, which is a little town about 35 minutes from here. So one ambulance to service that area, basically. And then there's a couple of stations that have like people on call and volunteers and stuff like that. So like I said, we're quite remote, and if something was to go quite bad and quite wrong, it's going to take a little bit of time to get some extra resources and that sort of thing. And I suppose that's the one of the challenges of our job, but it's also one of the things that really gets me excited to come to work, and makes me have to think and keep on top of my skills as well. We're constantly training, we're constantly studying, just trying to, not a lot happens out here, which is good. They're very safety orientated.
That's good.
Yeah, but stuff still does happen. So
yeah,
when it's more of a matter of when, not if. And yeah, we just make sure that I'm on top of my game and my skills to be able to provide that quality care for our patients. And and these are people that we all obviously also know on a personal level too. So we see them on site 12 hours a day. Back at camp, we have dinner with them. So it is quite a close knit community out here. So you want to, if the unfortunate thing, if something does go wrong, you want to be able to do everything you can for that person.
Okay. So what's the most common injury or illness you see out there?
Yeah, for the most part, a lot of it's a lot of medical stuff. So we get a lot of like GI upsets, a lot of gastro. COVID seems to still be a big thing out here too. Get a lot of symptomatic COVID and stuff like that, and that's just the nature of being in a camp with thousands of people and being in close contact. So they're probably the two common ones. Yeah, a lot of nausea, vomiting, dehydration's a big one as well. We can during summer we can see temperatures up to 45 degrees Celsius out here, which is quite warm. So
yes.
So and it's a very humid climate here too. So it doesn't fortunately it doesn't take much, and it's that's quite a common one for us to have. We're very try to be very proactive as well, and we go out and we do in-field hydration testing and stuff like that for our workers out here, and sort of educate them on being hydrated and that sort of thing. So it's we try and do our best to keep them from seeing me, so they know if they're seeing me.
Always.
Day.
Yeah, one of my coworkers has established a kidney stone free policy, and when he goes out on deck, he takes water with him and encourages them to hydrate and stay hydrated. Because So do y'all have a clinic out there that you see people in, or is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So on site here, we've got a medical centre. So I'm the only health professional on site. The other ESO that I work with is first aid trained, provide a lot of basic first aid, emergency first aid. But I'm the only sort of higher qualified medical professional on site. So I medical centre on my 12-hour shift. And then obviously we have emergencies out in the pit or, other places on site. I have an ambulance on site that I can respond in as well. So,
So is it like a full-fledged ambulance, or is it kind of like a quad or a 4x4?
Yeah, it's a 4x4. So it's a Toyota troop carrier. So, it has 4x4 because we, just given the nature of our line stop and where we are, you can get yourself into some sticky situations sometimes where you. I
can imagine.
Yeah, so it is good. It's got everything in it that we need, to provide all that emergency medicine. Got a full drug kit, oxygen kit, Furno stretcher, combi carrier, that sort of thing. Got major trauma stuff. So for what it is, it's really good. So, and like I said, we're able to get into 99.99% of places on site. So, which is the biggest thing I think for here.
Definitely. So, where I'm at, we have access to antibiotics and steroids, and we go through a doctor that we basically say, hey, this is my patient. This is what's going on with him, XYZ. This is the care plan that I have in mind. What do you think? And then he'll give us the okay to go have a treatment. Do y'all have advanced stuff like that out there, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we're being a private company, or essentially not working for a state service or a 000 service, where our drug licenses and stuff are governed quite heavily. So part of that process is so our company gets issued a drug license by the government. So we carry everything from your basic paracetamol, ibuprofen, all the way up to an S8, such as your morphine. We're getting ketamine brought in to our scope in a couple of months as well. So just being able to provide that extra pain relief. But all that stuff, so a lot of our S4s and our S8s, we have to do that same process, consult for. And even if we're not sure of a care plan for a particular patient, like if we get an abnormal presentation, we've got a doctor on call that we can call 24 hours. And we can, same thing, run through our care plan or run through, run anything by them and just sort of say, look, I'm unsure of what this is, because there is, as you know, the stuff can present, nothing's textbook. Everything's,
yes.
everything's
yes.
great. So, it's really good. It's a good model to have, and the doctors that we have for our company are awesome, like really, really good. And they provide us a lot of support and reassurance too for us, especially with us being so remote. And like I said, we're it for however long it takes for that person to get to a higher level of care. And sometimes we've got to be thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. And so to answer your question, yes, we do carry that. We do have that same model basically out here as well.
That's awesome. So you mentioned your partner. All right, so in the States we have basically 4 levels of certification that you can have. You have a EMR, which is an emergency medical responder, the lowest level. You have an EMT, which can do basic life saving, and they are able to administer some drugs. Then we have an advanced EMT that can do IVs and EKGs, and then you have the paramedic, which is basically your terminal certification before you get to your specialties like critical care and flight and everything. Do y'all have the same structure over there?
Yeah, quite similar actually. So my partner, he's what you would your EMR level essentially. So he has a advanced first aid certificate. So he's able to, like I said, provide that initial sort of workplace first aid stuff. Like he can do basic bandaging and, obviously CPR and all that good stuff. So that's his level of qualification. And then you've got the next level up from that would be like your certificate 4 or your diploma level paramedics, we call them. So that's just instead of completing the full 3-year bachelor's degree, they do a certificate, which they can do in sort of 6 to 12 months. And same sort of thing, they can only administer some basic medications. They can IV as part of, set up an IV as part of that Cert 4 or that diploma level. And they can do a basic full lead EKG or ECG. And then you've got the paramedics who, again, our scope of drugs that we can administer is a lot higher, our skill set. So especially when it comes to sort of airway management and things like that. So your diploma levels are basically an OPA or an MPA, whereas your paramedics are more of that LMA. And then depending on your company and skills training and stuff, you can go and do advanced airway courses where you can learn to ETT and do that sort of thing as well. So, so that's kind of out here, that's kind of the levels that we have. My partner, he's that basic sort of advanced first aid level. But he's aspiring to actually go and do his diploma and his Cert 4 or his diploma at the moment. So, which would be really handy for me because just means it's
Definitely.
It's another skill set that he can bring to the table, and he can start doing that more advanced stuff, and just be super handy. So it's not all left up to me.
I got you. So is that a standard? Is that you have that your company provides 2 providers out there, or is that just unique to your current location?
Yes. Sorry, supervisors. You said.
No, I mean, is it your company's practice to have 2 people out there that are medical providers, or is that just unique to your current location?
Yeah, so it's unique to our location. So different mine sites, depending on what they, as part of their risk assessment, they'll deem what their emergency response team requirements are. So it is a requirement for every mine site to have at least one ARPA registered paramedic on site. And then it's then up to the mine site as to what their fire rescue capability will be from there. So for example, the mine next door to us, they have a paramedic, a diploma paramedic, and 4 ESOs or firefighters on site, whereas we're at our site here, we only run with myself and the ESO that I work with. So each site,
Awesome.
so each site's different. Just really depends on the capability. The best thing about our site here is we have a mutual aid agreement with the 2 other mine sites next door to us. So if we have a big job on site, we can call on their emergency response teams, and they'll come over and actually assist us on site with whatever we need, basically. So and vice versa. There's been times where we've had to go over and assist them in certain stuff, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a fire or rescue job. It could be a sick patient that they've got where they do require a more advanced provider to help them out, or a second set of hands basically that can provide those extra advanced skills. So like I said, that's the good thing about where I am. Like I said, each site runs differently though, and I can't really sort of talk for all the other ones, but that's just sort of what we do here.
Nice. So you say next door. I know that's a little bit different over here than it is over there. So how far is next door to y'all?
So we've got um, basically coming off the main highway. We have an access road to our mine, and off that access road, there's two other mine sites. So where the entrance from our site to the next one over is about K&a-half to 2K roughly, and then the other one up the road is maybe 3 or 4K up the road. So we're still within a 5-minute drive of each mine site, like the entrances at least. But then obviously the mine sites themselves spread out over kilometres and kilometres of real estate. So so next door's is you could be 20 minutes down the road and still be next door.
Okay, I got you. So how's the food in the camp over there?
Yeah, look, for the most part, it's pretty good. Obviously, it's hard feeding 2 or 3 thousand people that are in a camp at any one time. Obviously, there's going to be days where it's quality's not as good, but for the most part, it's really good. I haven't had an issue with it. We don't pay for food out here, so we get all that provided to us while we're out here. That's just part of our agreement. All of our accommodations provided for, and all of our flights out to site are provided for as well by my company. So, we get looked after pretty well. They can cook us steaks pretty much any night of the week. So that's always
Awesome.
yeah. So look, the food's pretty good for the most part.
Nice, nice. Now I know my wife. Her and her family lived in Woomer for a while, and she said one of the best steaks she had was kangaroo.
Yeah, I don't know if we got kangaroo on the menu, but I know the beef steaks are pretty good out here.
Nice. All right. So are the living accommodations basically like the big trailers, or do y'all have permanent living quarters, or is it temporary living quarters, or?
Yeah, so it's almost like in a way hotel accommodation wise. So there's a lot of workers out here that have permanent rooms at the camp. So permanent living quarters. For me, being I'm a contractor out here, so my company contracts to the mine site or the mining company. So from week to week, I get a different room every week that I come out to site, which is fine for me.
Yeah.
Spices it up a little bit. So look, it's but everyone gets their own room. You're provided with your own bed, en suite, and then we share laundry facilities. So that's the thing that we do share. Other than that, everyone gets their own air conditioned room, and they're more like dongers, not dongers. Be like donger style. I'll send you some photos when we finish here. I'll flick you through some photos. You can have a look. But they're just basically it's a couple of thousand rooms on site at the camp, and accommodates a couple of the bigger mines around the area here. So like I said, again, dependent from site to site. Some sites have the camp on the mine site itself. So it just kind of depends. But where I am is it's basically your own living quarters and just like your own little hotel room, basically. It's
Nice. Okay. All right. So what's the most difficult part about your swing? Is it being away from family, or is it the medical cases you'd see, or what would you say that would be for you?
For me, I think the big thing is being away from home and from family. Like, it's really testing on on the home life for sure. It's some people can do it, some people love it, other people hate it. I actually don't mind it too much, to be honest. But it definitely takes a toll on your relationships and your home life and stuff like that. Being at least in my case, it does. Other people use it to get away from the kids and the family, wife and the nagging, so they kind of enjoy it. I think definitely being away from home. I think the other thing too is there are long weeks out here too sometimes, especially if you've been busy or had a couple of bad jobs or stuff like that. It can be very isolating out here. So having that support network around you with your friends and your colleagues, and still being able to get in touch with friends and family back home is like super important, I think. Because it can be quite lonely out here at times, and especially if you're on a night shift and you're sitting around a little bit, or you've got time to sort of think. It can be very isolating. But that's where, like I said, that support network that you have out here is super important. As I said to you earlier, we're all a very tight knit community out here. Everyone knows everyone, and a lot of the times, we spend, like me and my ESO that I work with, we spend more time together in a week than he does with his own girlfriend. So, it's spent a lot of hours in a week together. So, so it is really important to have that, though, I think. So, that would be for me. That's the biggest ththing. But I'm sure if you asked 1,000 different coal mine workers, you get 1,000 different answers.
Of course, yeah. So do y'all have like a rec room over there, a TV room for downtime?
On site, you mean, or at our camp?
At the camp.
At the camp. So we've got gym facilities. And there's TVs and stuff in our own rooms. But our camp's got 2 gyms, 2 swimming pools, and we've also got a bar on site as well, where you can go and have a game of pool or play darts or ping pong, whatever you want to do. So there is stuff for us to do in our downtime. So I know a lot of us, we finish work and we'll all go to the gym together, and then we'll all go get dinner together. And like I said, we're in each other's pockets for better part of 15 to 16 hours a day. So so that's just what we do. Other people like to get back to camp and go sit in their room and just chill out by themselves, or go kick a football around or do something. So
okay.
So there's stuff for us to do.
That's nice. So what do you do during your off time? Do you spend it with family, or do you use it for education, or do you have a part-time job that you do that when you're back home?
Yeah, so I still so I do work on my days off as well. So I work for an event paramedical company, so providing paramedics for festivals and football games and stuff like that. So just an on-site medical response. So I do that because that helps me keep up my clinical skills. Generally we find with those bigger events that obviously we're very busy. So that's a good opportunity for me, because sometimes out here you can kind of feel like you're de-skilling or don't get as much exposure to the bigger jobs that you would, or sort of the more mid-tier jobs that you get back home. So I do that personally. I love it. Like I said, I live and breathe it. But if I'm not doing that, then I'm out surfing, or I'm also a volunteer lifesaver. So patrol the beaches on the weekends and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun to do that. Try and keep fit and that sort of thing. And then try and spend time with family when I can, when I get the chance. So it's kind of hard with them all spread out across the country, and all of us, me and my siblings, are all a bit older now, so seeing them is a bit hard sometimes, but we make it work.
Yeah, not gonna lie, a little bit. Excuse me, not gonna lie, a little bit jealous about the surfing thing.
Definitely. Definitely. If you ever come down to the Gold Coast in Queensland, it's some of the best surfing spots in Australia, I would argue.
That's what I hear. So, oh dang, I lost my train of thought.
That's all right.
Sorry, caffeine hasn't kicked in this morning yet.
Yeah. Right, I'm on my third.
So,
I'm on my third coffee, if that makes you feel better.
It does. So I know in the offshore life we allow coffee, but we don't allow any of the high caffeinated drinks like Red Bulls or stuff like that. Is that pretty much the same thing over there for your site?
No, actually, it's probably actually quite the opposite. I reckon if some of the guys here didn't have their 3 cans of Red Bull by by the third hour of their shift, they may actually kill some people. So no, they're pretty good out here. The only real restrictions we have out here is actually people smoking on site. So we're a smoke-free site, so no cigarettes, no vapes, nothing like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of it's good, helps
Oh
try
yeah,
and
definitely.
promote that healthier lifestyle and yeah, and that sort of thing. But yeah, no, caffeinated drinks are definitely not banned because if that was the case, I probably wouldn't be able to function.
No, I hear it. I hear it. All right. Do y'all, when it comes to your paramedic, do they have a recertification period? I know ours is every 2 years, and we've got so many CEUs we have to do. Is that pretty much the same thing over there?
Yeah, so ours is yearly, and we have to do up to 30 hours of professional development. So whether that's attending seminars or training days, stuff like that. So any training that I do on site, I can put that down as long as I've documented it. I can put that down as professional development as well. So any skills training that I do, I'm really lucky in the respect that my company also provides a clinical educator who comes out to site every couple of months, and she'll run through different scenarios with us and do some skills sessions and things like that. So, but yeah, we have to do 30 hours a year, and we have to re-register every year.
Okay.
So,
All right. That's really cool.
yeah, it is good.
So, on the rig that I'm at, we have a rescue team, and it's made up of guys that are not really medically trained, but I work with them once a week on. I say medically trained; they're rescue trained as far as like confined space and all that kind of stuff. But I work with them once a week on medical stuff. And do you have the same support out there, or is it just you and your partner?
Yeah, so it's just me and my partner. Like I said, we're both rescue trained. Obviously, I have the addition of that paramedical side of it. However, I do go over because, like I said, at the end of the day, it could potentially just be me and him at a job. So I do go through we do as part of our weekly jobs that we do on site. One of those is for me to do some medical training with him. So even if it's something as simple as setting me up to do a cannula, so getting the gear out that I need to be able to put a line in. Could be stuff like we go over CPR pretty frequently. He practices putting OPAs in and stuff of that nature, teaching him how to bag valve mask properly, just little basic stuff that when, excuse my language here, when shit hits the fan,
Yeah.
He's able to help me and assist me until further help arrives. Because, like I said, it could be 5-10 minutes, it could be half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. So it's a big responsibility for we're only human. There's only so if I can sort of upskill him and get him to do things and show him how to do the more advanced stuff that he wouldn't usually get out of, say, a basic first aid course, even stuff as simple as taking like a blood pressure. If I can teach him how to do those things, that's one less thing than I've got to think about, and that's that cognitive overload, right? So it
Definitely.
sort of starts negating that stuff for me to be able to make good clinical decisions for my patient. One less thing I've got to think about as well. So yeah, and then vice versa too. So he's the rescue expert on our crew. I have a basic understanding of the rescue side of things. So a couple of times a week we'll go through and we'll do some rescue stuff. So like this week the last 2 nights we've done vertical rescue training. We've set up some ropes in our engine bay and done just climbed up and down a rope, getting used to the gear, the harnesses, stuff like that. So, and then tonight we'll probably go through and do some sort of medical training. Haven't quite figured out what we're going to do yet, but but that's our part of our responsibility though, as being the emergency response team on site, is we need to be up to date on our skills and be confident in our skills. And the only way we can do that is by training. So
exactly.
that's part of our responsibility.
Nice. All right. So I really appreciate you jumping on here and talking with me. It's been very enlightening and very interesting. So I always like to end my interviews on this one question.
Sure.
If you could give one piece of advice, just one, to anybody that's wanting to get in your field, what would it be?
Well, one piece of advice. I think the biggest piece of advice is just if this is the field that you want to get into, it's can be very rewarding, and it's going to be what you make it at the end of the day. There's people that come into these jobs who just want to sit back and cruise and do nothing. Like I said, we don't have the volume of work like a 911 service would have, or 000 service would have out here. However, and we do have a lot of that primary healthcare stuff. But when stuff goes wrong, it's going to go wrong very quickly, and it's going to go from 0 to 100. So, I guess the biggest thing is, make the most of it, and I wouldn't be, don't be complacent. Keep up your training and that sort of thing. But it's a great lifestyle. I think being here, like I said, I work half the year. Week on, week off, do that for half the year. You do that half the year, you've got half a year off to travel or do whatever you want to do, sort of thing. So, it is a good lifestyle, but definitely just make the most of it, and it's going to be what you make it.
Definitely. Like one of my friends say, always stay hungry.
Always stay hungry. Absolutely, I like that. I'm gonna write that up on our whiteboard in the medical center, I think, and that'll be some good motivation for us at the end of the swing.
Heck yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. It's been really great talking with you. Is there anything else that you would like to add before I let you go?
Just want to say, no, thank you very much for having me on as well. And, I love what you're doing with the podcast and everything that, it's good to see our counterparts in different parts of the world, how they do things. And I'm sure we can learn stuff off you guys and vice versa. So, I think this is really, really good, and hopefully stay in contact, and might see you over there at one point.
No, most definitely. I'll see if I tell my wife to go back to Australia. She's been talking about it for a few years. So
yeah, come on over. The weather's good, and we're about to come out of summer now, so it's a good time of year.
Most definitely. All right, thank you so much, Carter. It's been fantastic talking with you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Lee. Appreciate it.
No problem.